Welcome to Study Loop.
Hey, it's Clarissa with numerated. So we're going to express each of these statements using predicates and quantifiers. So for part A, it says a passenger on an airline qualifies as an elite flyer if the passenger flies more than 25,000 miles in a year or takes more than 25 flights during the year. So we're going to let the domain be all passengers on the airline. P of x means x is an elite flyer. Q of x means x flies more than 25,000 miles, and R of x means x takes more than 25 flights during that year. So we're going to use a universal quantification of Q of x or R of x. And this is then P of x. For part B, it says a man qualifies for the marathon if his previous time is less than 3 hours, and a woman qualifies for the marathon if her previous time is less than 3.5 hours. So we're going to let A of x be x is a man, B of x be x is a woman. So S of x be x has a best previous time less than 3 hours, and T of x be x has a best previous time less than 3.5 hours, and U of x be x qualifies for the marathon. So we're going to use a universal quantification, and we say A of x and S of x, then U of x. And the universal quantification again for woman, which is B of x is a woman, and T of x, which says that it's less than 3.5 hours, then she qualifies for the marathon. For part C, we have a student must take at least 60 course hours or at least 45 and write a master's thesis and receive a grade no lower than a B in all required courses to receive a master's. So let C of x comma y be x takes at least y hours, D of x be x writes a master's thesis, and E of x be x receives a grade no lower than B in all required courses, and F of x be x receives a master's degree. So we're going to use the universal quantification, and we're going to start with C of x comma 60 or C of x comma 45, and D of x. D of x says x writes a master's thesis, and E of x, which is receives a grade no lower than a B, then they receive a master's degree. And finally, part D says there is a student who has taken more than 21 credit hours in a semester and received all A's. So let's let G of x be x has taken more than 21 credit hours in a semester, and H of x be x received all A's. So we're going to use the existential quantification of G of x, which is taken more than 21 credit hours in a semester, and H of x, which is received all A's.